What you're about to see is completely AI created with Notebook LM. All of the information for Notebook LM was parsed from a conversation with Gemini about the WWDC Keynote.
Apple's latest Keynote was a masterclass in spectacle, projecting a future where their intelligence layer flawlessly anticipates your every need. But if you look closely at the actual announcements, features like typing natural language shortcuts or generatively expanding the borders of a photo aren't exactly recent breakthroughs. If you hold a current Android flagship, you've been using these exact tools for well over a year. Feature checklists for magic erasers or smart search bars have become secondary. These tools are commodities now, largely identical across every high-end device. The actual differentiator lies in ecosystem architecture, the way the underlying software either limits or enables the deep integration of your daily work. Apple builds a highly secure, strict gatekeeper at the system level. Android, powered by its upcoming custom hardware, pushes for open, proactive autonomy. This quadrant maps the two philosophies. X-axis is system rigidity. Y-axis is AI execution. Apple lands in the closed, reactive sector, polished but operating inside a strict sandbox. Android and Windows map into the open, proactive sector, building models that operate continuously across platforms. When you buy a device today, you are selecting one of these two realities: a flawless, self-contained gatekeeper or an autonomous agent that does the legwork across your entire digital life. This choice becomes clear once you look at how these phones actually execute a workflow. Apple's rebuilt Siri AI uses system-wide on-screen awareness to see exactly what you are looking at. If you are reading an email, Siri can pull data directly from that text and drop it into Maps without manually switching screens. This creates a remarkably cohesive experience right out of the box, but it requires you to play entirely by Apple's rules, relying heavily on the native, pre-approved stock apps their system recognizes. Google approaches this differently. With the custom Tensor G5 silicon inside newer devices, they shift processing power locally to handle much heavier cross-app tasks. Using Google's App Functions API, the AI reads an address, opens a third-party grocery app, builds your shopping cart, and books a rideshare autonomously. But this autonomy costs access. You must grant Google deep visibility into your daily habits and third-party app data. Apple isolates your data tightly within its own curated applications, while Android sacrifices some of that strict isolation to do the actual heavy lifting across whatever apps you choose to use. This deep visibility extends to exactly how the operating system monitors the actual media you consume and share. Apple recently introduced aggressive pediatric updates. They built a system-wide media scanner into the core operating system that actively censors sensitive images or gore across all native communication channels. Training an on-device AI to constantly scan visual data leads to a massive false positive problem. The system looks at pixels, not context. A student researching a biology project or historical war photos will frequently hit roadblocks that require parental approval to clear. Because the scanner relies on a remote database of unapproved visual hashes to function, the threshold for what gets blocked is entirely a software update away. By embedding this detection at the OS level, Apple creates a permanent gateway that can be retargeted toward political speech or unapproved symbols. Google focuses its security efforts elsewhere. Instead of relying on automated tools to rotate compromised passwords, Google aggressively pushes passkeys across its ecosystem. Because passkeys are cryptographically tied to your specific hardware, they eliminate the vulnerability of a server leak entirely. Comparing the two pediatric safety approaches, Apple's filter actively scans individual data packets passing through the screen. Google's Family Link uses a sandbox model, restricting app access from the outside without live scanning internal visual data. You have to weigh a high-friction, automated content monitor against an approach that manages app access from the outside using stronger baseline identity architecture. Finally, we have to look at desktop synergy and local processing power. Apple optimized macOS Golden Gate entirely for Apple Silicon. Their visual intelligence tool scans any active window, extracts the data, and syncs natively to your iPhone. To get that perfectly bridged workflow, you have to buy entirely into the Apple hardware ecosystem and abandon anything running on a traditional PC. Meanwhile, the PC space is seeing a significant shift toward local hardware independence. Microsoft and NVIDIA just unveiled incredibly powerful new ARM-based systems utilizing the RTX Spark chip and the Copilot Plus architecture. While mobile devices manage a fraction of the load, the new NVIDIA ARM architecture hits 1 petaflop of local AI processing. By tying Android natively to Windows, you bridge your phone directly into this massive desktop compute block, avoiding Apple's lock-in. The Windows and Android partnership provides vastly superior raw processing power, provided you are willing to manage your data handoffs between 2 separate corporate platforms. When you strip away the Keynote branding and the rebranded names for features that have existed for years, the operational realities become clear. Apple undeniably excels at removing friction from the basics. Baking receipt parsing and bill splitting directly into the Wallet app, or natively supporting uncompressed photo sharing with Android users, makes everyday tasks effortless. Apple prioritizes immediate visual cohesion out of the box. Google and Microsoft prioritize cross-platform raw autonomous power. This decision shifts away from feature counts and toward your personal tolerance for platform lock-in. The ultimate metric of value is which system architecture successfully removes the friction from your specific daily routines. Ask yourself, what is your primary tech priority? For flawless zero-setup workflows and secure data within stock apps, choose Apple's walled garden. For an autonomous agent executing cross-app macros using massive PC compute power, the Android and Windows Alliance wins. Do not base your next purchase on the glossy features highlighted in a stage presentation. Look at the architecture. You are either buying into a highly controlled, incredibly polished sandbox or a sprawling, autonomous tool. Choose the one that actually fits how you work.